And off we. All right. So, welcome, of course, everybody. If you're new here, I'm really glad you came. I hope you find this to be a good use of your time today. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love seeing everybody's faces on Fridays. It's the highlight of my week. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos on legal technology talk. So make sure to grab the handout, and I might have to drop it again because somebody else just popped in. So I am going to drop it again. All right, there we go. So make sure to grab the handout. It's going to outline uh, today so you can take notes and whatnot. So we're going to start with the $1 million question. We've all asked it. Where do the best, most qualified clients actually come from? So here's the thing. It's almost always professional referrals. Because if you think about it, a CPA, financial advisor, or other professionals that sends a client your way, that client already trusts them because they're working with them. And because their refers work complements yours, it's often a natural fit. They're not questioning your value. You're already pre-aligned with your services, and boom, you just get to skip a huge part of the engagement talk of trying to gain that trust and whatnot. Has everybody or has anybody here actually sat in a meeting where the referral felt totally pre-vetted and the conversation just flows? Have people experienced that? It's really, really helpful. And that's what I'm talking about. The client is already a good match. The context is set, and everything just feels natural to discuss their legal needs. So now let's kind of break this down a little bit. How to meet refers. So, how do you build a network of professionals that are going to send you clients? Step one is figure out who works with your ideal client. And I'm going to actually backtrack. And the step zero is figure out who your ideal client is. If you don't know who your ideal client is and you can't articulate that to your team, then that is absolutely a priority you need to make because that affects everything you do, how intake calls are handled, how the intake script is, what your marketing is, where you're marketing. So I would encourage if you cannot clearly identify your ideal client at your next stakeholder meeting every week, the very next one, I would take the first 10 minutes and figure that out, identify it, write it down, and make sure everybody knows what that looks like. So, anyways, but after you've figured out your ideal client, then figure out who works with your ideal client. For estate planning, that might look like accountants, financial advisors, maybe other attorneys in different practice areas, senior living communities, funeral directors are kind of an unspoken one, but it's really huge because a lot of people need to do their planning when somebody passes away. Maybe real estate agents that are helping clients buy their homes into trusts or things like that. So think outside the box of who works with your ideal client. And once you know who they are, then you got to actually go meet them. This isn't collecting business cards at a conference and then just praying you get referrals. We're talking coffee, lunch, inviting them to a partnership meeting to see if your businesses align, or joining groups, or just having genuine conversations. You can't just wait for them to refer. You have to be proactive. The golden rule when you're finding your referral partners is you want to be a resource to them just as much as they're a resource to you. Reciprocity absolutely matters. If it's a one-way relationship, they usually die. How many of your friends is it just one way? And we know this happens. You're the only one reaching out to them, or vice versa. That wouldn't be considered a really deep friendship. So some firms, they even have a full-time person dedicated to this role, the growth partner coordinator. I used to do it when I worked in an estate planning law firm. And yes, I dubbed myself the attorney's professional friend maker. That role, when it's done right, can be a major revenue generator. We've seen firms increase their revenue by hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional revenue just from having a growth partner program in your firm. And just to be clear, of course, this is based on firms we've worked with. It's not a guaranteed, you're going to make $1 million off this program. But there is a pattern that we've observed when the program is run effectively and, more importantly, consistently. Stacy Brown Randall's book, Generating Business Referrals Without Asking. I put the link on the bottom of the handout so you can have access to getting that book. But she highlights that consistent touch points matter. Even small check-ins, follow-up calls, or meaningful notes keep you top of mind with your referral partners, all without ever having to ask for referrals. And that's what we're going to demo today, the engine to facilitate that mentality. So let's talk briefly about growth partner programs. Some people may call it RMS, some people may call it a trusted partner. We've settled on a growth partner program. So think of it as a structured, repeatable way to manage your best referral partners. Casual coffees and lunches are fine. They're nice touch points, but without structure, you're leaving results to chance. So I just want to note that this is just a brief overview of what a growth partner program would look like. I'm not here to teach you how to get referrals. I want to show you how the engine works that makes it run. If you want to dive deep into the strategies for generating referrals, then absolutely check out that book that I just told you about, the Generating Business Referrals Without Asking by Stacy Brown Randall. I would encourage everybody to read that book. It will really get you on the right path. So successful firms tend to follow, or they wish to follow, a 20-80 approach. What does that mean? A 20-80 approach is about 20% of their efforts come from retail marketing and 80% comes from referrals for initial contacts. And this comes through their growth partner program. So you really want to aim to have about 80% of your business come from referrals. Now, we're not telling you perfection. We're telling you to strive to just improve your number of referrals. 20-80 is like the ideal number. But if you're at 40-60 and you're getting 60% referrals, you're doing awesome. But this means that the real engine for consistent, high-quality clients isn't cold outreach. It's cultivating and tracking your professional relationships effectively. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Yes. So with a growth partner program, there's a couple things that you do. You identify the right partners who actually send qualified referrals who are your ideal clients. You track quality versus quantity of referrals. And we're going to show you the reporting system behind the growth partner engine that's going to show you what the quality versus quantity means and how you use it or how you see it, and then how you actually use that as a decision making tool on how you run your program. The next one is focus your time on relationships that produce quantifiable results. You never want to do things that you can't quantify, because then you can't fix it. You can't say what's working and what's not working. And then the last one is measure success so you can tweak or improve. So a quick note, some firms think that just getting lots of referrals is good. And it turns out only a small fraction actually engage. And this is what Beth will show you when we get to the report, because this is why tracking matters. You need a talk. You may need a talk with the referrer to make sure everyone's expectations are aligned. You can waste a lot of hours in the conference room with referrals who never intend to hire you. Let me just throw a number out there. If you get 100 referrals from one growth partner and only three engage you, and let's say 65 of those went in the conference room, you just wasted about 62 hours or more in the conference room because you weren't aligned with that growth partner with proper expectations. So just remember automation, and this is the preface to what we're going to get into. Automation does not replace the growth partner coordinator. It does the heavy lifting, tracking, reminders, reporting, nudges, so humans can focus on the relationship building and smart decision making. Everything we do is driven around the idea of let a robot do what a robot can do so a human can do what only a human can do. I'm sure you've heard us say it a million times, but it applies in all aspects of what we do. We're not wanting to eliminate jobs when we help people implement this. We want to create jobs because you're so busy. So now let's go on to the next section. Signs that your growth partner program is healthy. This is like a health check for your growth partner program. Consistent referrals, not just random bursts. Referrals are high quality and aligned with your ideal client. Referrals often move to consultation and engagement agreements. Relationships are reciprocal and beneficial to both parties. And your reporting is clear, actionable, and used to adjust strategy. And last, you're consistently holding a weekly growth partner meeting with your attorneys. You're having just a check-in of what's going on with the program, who's new, does the attorney need to touch base with somebody? You should have a weekly growth partner meeting. Let's talk about the challenge of manual systems. So you have all these ideas to do this, but with a manual system, it's very clunky because we're going to talk about the engine to make your program run. And here's where most firms stumble and then eventually give up on this type of program that really is a massive revenue stream. You meet someone, grab a business card, maybe jot a note, and then life happens. You forget to follow up, you lose track, and you don't know which referrers are actually sending clients. That's chaos. This wastes time, can hurt relationships, and it can reduce revenue potential with a potentially damaged reputation because that referral partner may trust you and send you referrals, and you're not doing anything. You're not doing the follow up. You're not staying in contact with the growth partner. They're going to tell their other professional friends, you may want to stay away from them. They're not great at communicating or something. So you can actually damage your reputation. And that's why you need to do this extremely structured. And that's why our motto is let a robot do what a robot can do and a human do what only a human can do. Automations handle the repetitive stuff. Humans focus on building relationships and making educated, high impact, revenue generating decisions. So let's just talk about the overlay that we have. So you can see how a growth partner program can be tracked. So it helps your growth partner coordinator first automate follow-ups and reminders. It tracks your most valuable partners. It provides clear, actionable reporting on who is sending potential clients. And it's ensuring promises are kept and the relationship is moving forward. The growth partner coordinator still drives the relationship. They're in the driver's seat. This just makes them 100 times more effective. The system is giving you the data, the organization, nudges, reports, and the push to stay on top of every relationship, which lets you then focus energy where it matters the most. The growth partner system that we're going to demo today, it's in Lawmatics. It's built to handle a lot of the automations and nudges, though this isn't like a client workflow. So if you have your practice management system, you have your workflow built out, you know where everybody's at, this does that, but it's different. This is driven by interaction, phone calls, visits, things like that. The system will tell you what to do, give you the analytics and the tools to accomplish that, but the relationship building is still very human and it's intentionally built to be that way. This runs parallel to your client matters, but it and does not directly interact with them. And now I'm going to show you what I mean. So let me demo this a little bit for you so you can kind of see how to track and maintain a proper referral partner program. All right. So here I'm inside of Lawmatics. The first thing I want to show you is kind of where it's stored. So if I go to people and I'm just going to click contacts and let's just pick somebody. We have it stored right here. So as what you're going to be able to see is the growth partner coordinator, the classification, the gatekeepers and point of contact information that you have to get through to speak to the growth partner. You want to know those people. The stage, where are they at in the process that you've set out in a structured growth partner program? What's your goal with this relationship? And then the contact type, that's going to drive reporting. So this is where you can see it, but we've actually simplified it through a form. And let me show you what the form generates before I show you the form. So if I look in here and I just go to growth partners, I can show you what this will do. So you're going to get a very simplified report. The one Beth is going to show you is much more detailed, but it's going to show you who the referral partner is, who the coordinator is, because maybe you have 5 people that are coordinating relationships. You want to assign one person to one relationship. So you know who's handling that relationship, what stage they're on, what's their classification, what's your goal for this relationship, when did you last contact them, days since last contact, and then you can see the gatekeeper right here that you can reach out to if you need to. So the form I'm going to show you is driving this very simplified overview that you can grab at a glance. So now if I go to the form and we take a look at this, I'm going to use anybody. It doesn't really matter who we pick. So you just pull up a growth partner, or if there isn't one, then you just go ahead and fill this out and it'll create a new growth partner. So everything is managed through this form for your growth partner program to keep it very easy. If you just need to make a file note, get in the habit, come to this form. If you need to schedule a meeting with the growth partner, come to this form. We've done that so it's all in one spot and it's keeping consistency. It's also helping you keep their record clean. So here I can see this person doesn't have a prefix. I want to have that. And I don't like that the last name is capitalized. So I can fix that on the fly because I found her in the system and now she's going to be a growth partner. Make sure their phone number is in there, their email, what company they work for, and what's their job title. And then putting the partners, the gatekeeper or point of contact information in here. Who is that? What's their job title, their phone, and their email. Now, driving the program is under this section. So you're going to pick who's going to coordinate this relationship. Let's say Beth is going to coordinate that relationship. I just assigned her to that relationship now. So it's her responsibility to have her reports to drive that relationship. This right here, all it's doing is it's separating the client for reporting purposes. They can be a client and a growth partner. They can be either. That doesn't matter. But if you tag them a growth partner, now the reporting can begin. You're going to pick a stage. Maybe it's a new relationship. Maybe you want to request a first meeting with them to see if your business ideas and your synergy align. So you can request a partnership meeting. And then when they're having the partnership meeting, if they're going to attend one of your workshops, if you're going to do a joint workshop with them, maybe you need to just check on the health of the relationship and you want to go out to coffee and just get realigned in expectations with each other. You can schedule a pulse meeting And that's just saying, I want to get the pulse of the relationship. Let's just have a touching base. So this is just like a workflow for clients. This part is you can track where they're at, including putting them in touches. So if there's nothing really going on, they sit in touches and you're going to contact them every 30 days or 45 days or 60 days, depending on what their classification is, which is right here. Is it a new relationship and you don't know how you want to classify them yet? Or maybe they are a top referral, so you're going to make them a top 5 or a top 10. Or they refer casually, so maybe I'm going to put them in the farm league. Some firms like to have gold, silver, bronze. You can use that. And then if the relationship is ended, you can just classify them as an ended relationship. And then you just pick a goal. And I would say pick anything you want in the beginning and refine it as the relationship goes. So maybe it's you want 3 referrals per month. And then, of course, you can put a file note, created a new referral partner, whatever you want. That it's just going to go into this growth partners file, and you can see all that. Now, let's say you need to do something with scheduling. Like I said, this is a one-stop shop form. So maybe they want to register for a workshop to attend with you to see how you do your workshops. They want to understand more too for their clients. So maybe they want to come on September 30th. I click it. When I hit submit, they're now registered for the workshop. Maybe you want to schedule a meeting with them. Maybe you want to do a partnership meeting, or maybe you want to do a planning meeting to plan joint events, or maybe a pulse meeting to review the relationship. When you click it, it's just going to bring up the scheduler that you can go ahead and put that on your calendar, and it'll trigger reminders, texts, things like that. But everything is built right here for you to manage the entire program. You don't really ever have to go to the contact record to do this, because you can just keep searching up here. I can go to Kayla. Let's say I want to work with her. Or I can pick nobody and then I can just create somebody new. It doesn't matter if it's a new relationship, current relationship, future, it doesn't matter. This is where everything is driven. So that's the form. And there's lots of automation stuff behind it. But again, this is going to be driven more by phone calls, visits, lunches, all of that, the very personal touch. This is just driving it. And that's what the automations are doing in this. So I do want to show you also the tasks. So we sent out an email a couple of weeks ago on one of our Wednesday tips and trick emails, but you can use it here too. I made a column for growth partners. So whenever tasks are generated automatically, they're going to drop into growth partners. So whoever's relationship that is, it'll just populate here. So I can just say, all I'm going to do is growth partners for the next 3 hours. And then I can go through my growth partner tasks. This is really helpful. The other thing you can do is it's a 30-day touch, and maybe you want to make a comment. Tried to call them, they didn't answer. We'll try again tomorrow. And then just don't complete the task, but you have kind of a forum thread of what you did for this specific task to make sure that you're keeping in check with everything you need to do. Now, Beth is going to show you the Power BI, which is going to highlight the growth partner focuser, marketing trends, referral focuser, things like that with the 2080 philosophy as well. So I'm going to let you share, Beth.
Okay, so in the Power BI report, there's a couple different places that this comes into play. One in marketing, of course, you can look at your referrals and you can choose a growth partner coordinator. And if you have multiples, you can choose multiple ones. And then what that does is that gives you all of the people that you have that relationship with that are referring people to you and those numbers for them. So you can look at that right in your marketing part. And then the other part of that is the growth partner focuser. And this allows you to look at just your growth partners, who is referring, all of the classification, who's the coordinator, what is their stage, what is their relationship goal, What is their, how many people have they referred in the last 30 days? How many days has it been since we've contacted them? That's important because you can look at this very quickly. And then when was that date that we last contacted them? How many initial contacts for this time frame did they bring in? How many workshop attendees, consultations, how many of those engaged? And then it gives you a conversion rate. So being able to look at that conversion rate, we can look at this and say, oh, John Barger, his conversion rate for us is 7.14%. Where, Harrison James is 23%. So you can look at those conversion rates and really make sure that you're focusing your energies in the right place and building the correct relationships that are bringing that through. And the other part of that is then saying, why isn't John referring qualified leads to us? And maybe have that meeting with them and dial that in of what is a qualified lead to you so that they know and they understand it. Maybe it's an education issue. It's not just that he has bad leads, but maybe it's an education issue with educating him for that.
Beth, can you tie in the lost reason that we implement into Lawmatics of how that could play into this with the reporting? Like if somebody
Um,
comes in and you put them into lost, you're
yeah.
logging that.
Yes, so all of that is getting logged in there. So you can then see if someone is where they're falling out in the process and all of that. That gives you that ability to also say, they weren't a qualified lead. So you can look into these people who were referred by, John Barger and why did they fall out? Where did they fall out? Why did they fall out? And you can just start to see trends and things in there. And then marketing trends. So being able to see this. Now, John talked about the 80-20 split. Well, this firm really does have an 80-20 split, but it's reversed. So their 80% is up here in their retail percentages, and this is a fake firm. This isn't anybody's real firm. But that is up there in the retail. And then the 20% is down here in the referrals. And this actually should be switched. You should have 80% up here in referrals, 20% down here coming from your retail.
Awesome. So yeah, so with this, on this specific report here, this is what's going to drive also who belongs in your top five, your top 10, and just casual refers maybe in the farm league. You're not going to kick them out, and you're going to stay in touch with them maybe once every 45 days or 60 days, whatever that would be. But you're not going to put maximum effort into those relationships. And you really want to dial in your top five refers and then your next five, which would be your top 10 refers. And those are the people that are really going to bring that revenue um, into the firm. Oh, I'm going
Okay.
to mute real quick. There we go. Okay. So that's the growth partner program. So let's talk about key takeaways. And I'm going to leave this up for a minute because it really is um, it's a mind shift in how you can drive your program. So from today, the key takeaways that I would love for you to walk away with today is referrals are your best and least expensive client to acquire, hands down. There's no questions asked about that. A growth partner program turns referrals into a structured, predictable pipeline. Manual tracking is chaos. Automation and reporting brings clarity. Um, Less really can be more. High quality referrals beat tons of low quality or unqualified referrals. Automation supports humans, it doesn't replace them. That's why we call a system like Lawmatics the silent employee. It's working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, behind the scenes, doing the heavy lifting of things that free up your time. Number 6 is consistent touch points. And this is what Stacy Brown Randall noted. Consistent touch points will always keep you top of mind without ever having to ask for referrals. And I'm going to give you a freebie on this one. Everything is about relationship building, but it has to be consistent. One of the things that we had done, or some other firms have done, is you take a candy jar, you take it to one of your referral partners and put it on the reception desk. Because do you know who's referring a lot of those people? The people at the reception desk. You want to stay top of mind to them as well in that CPA office or whatever that might be. And if you take a candy jar there and you have your name on it and you tell them every time this runs dry, give us a call and we're going to come fill up the candy for you. That generates where you get to keep going to the office, you get to keep a relationship with that receptionist, and they're always seeing that on their desk. So that's just a quick freebie for you. That's a really easy thing to do. We used to just keep bags of candy in the office and go fill it up. And then the last one is key takeaway is focus on the 20-80 split. Prioritize referral relationships, 80% of your pipeline, over retail marketing, which is 20, should be 20% for predictable results. Make actionable goals to improve. So again, this is not about perfection. This is about always improving. So an example of that is you can say by next quarter, we are going to increase our referrals of qualified leads that engaged by 5%. That is your goal. The entire team is on board. Your growth partner coordinators know what they need to do, and then they strive for that. Don't say we're going to increase it by 50%. That's many times just an unattainable goal. Be realistic. Now, if you have one referral a year and you want to increase by 50%, that is attainable. So use your judgment in your actionable growth items. So I do want to say that this is an overlay add-on to Action Step, what we just demoed. If you want to see how this could work for your firm, or if you don't use Lawmatics, we always push it because we're passionate about it. It doesn't mean that that's what's best for your firm, because some firms, it's absolutely not the best option. We get that. But if you want to learn more about using Lawmatics as your practice management system, we always offer that free discovery meeting. It's your chance to explore possibilities, see what fits, and decide if it's a good match. I can tell you, as you've seen, that automation engines are arguably the most powerful in Lawmatics for the legal practice management space. That's why we call Lawmatics the silent employee. It's working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So in your handout, you have this information, but I am also going to put it into the chat for you. So if you want to schedule or get her book, you can do that on the handout. I also want to show you one more thing that's just another quick freebie for you. And that is to go to, whoops, there we go. Go to our website under Success Tools, Calculators, Automation Case Studies. Go get this calculator. It's free. Just fill out this little form and it'll email it to you. And it's going to tell you how much time you can save using an automated system versus a manual or semi-automated system. So that's all I have today. It's a lot of information. That's why I wanted to give you the notes page. Beth, it is your time to make your comments. You are muted.
I
There
don't
we
know
go.
that I have any comments because you covered that very, very well. Um, and but just to reiterate what John said, that even if you don't have Lawmatics, Lawmatics makes this very easy. Lawmatics and the reporting makes it very easy. But even if you don't, and it is more manual and, it's harder to do, yes, but it can be done. And it is a very important part of building those referrals to come in and get you qualified clients coming in the door.
Yep, I love that. Just because you don't have the automated system, again, it makes it
Yep.
so much easier and you're not going to be lifting the heavy bricks. Now you're just going to be lifting the piece of papers to go meet with people. Um, it doesn't mean don't do it.
No.
Get your growth partner program moving. You have to have something in place. Even if it's your client service coordinator doing it, that's how my role was. And if you're going to meet with people, maybe you set aside a day that they're allowed out of the office and somebody's going to cover the phones or whatever that might be. Maybe it's an hour a day, but don't avoid it because there's not a system in place. But also, don't damage relationships. If you promise something, you have to follow through. That's the biggest advice I can tell you on a growth partner program. If you can't do something, don't promise it. You will damage your relationship with the firm. And that's more harmful than not even having a referral program. But that's not a reason also to not have the referral program. Stay focused, keep your eye on the referrals and the reciprocity of what you can do for their company as well. All right, I'm going to stop the recording and we have some actually extra time today for Q&A. All right.